All right, everybody. Happy Monday. It is November 9th. We all had a very great weekend celebrating. Some of us are hungover. Some of us aren't. I don't drink, Max. Come on. But, I think that we had a really interesting insight over what, people are supporting, what they don't support, what the next 4 years are going to be like. And so I think that today is probably the best day for us to have a conversation about what each one of these presidencies are and would have looked like. What was a Biden presidency, or what is a Biden presidency going to look like? What would a Trump presidency have looked like? And what happens now if the election were to flip? Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on a Biden presidency? What do you think it's going to look like?
They never wrote a sequel to my favorite book ever is called Being There. They also made a movie starring Peter Sellers. And it's the same, they never made a sequel because I think a Biden presidency would be the sequel. And the book is about a guy with the developmental problems that gets into politics at the end of the book. And I do think Biden isn't cognitively there. And so I think it's going to be not a shadow presidency, but a consultant, like the most puppet presidency we've had.
Do you think that it is possibly ableist to sit there and go, because, he does have a stutter and a well-documented stutter.
Ableist, dude,
It would appear that a lot of the reasons that he does have these sort of cognitive or discussion problems are because of the stutter that has been well documented throughout his entire career. Do you
think
that's a bigger there is a level of dementia?
That's a big, like what you said just there is a conspiracy theory, but like another fact. I'll give you a fact. Stutter. Let's talk about facts.
A stutter
the stutter is why he confuses his wife for his sister and his granddaughter for his dead son. That has nothing to do with the stutter. And 350 million versus 350,000. He keeps making just common mistakes that just sometimes.
He's also on camera talking for 12 hours straight a day.
That's true.
If you had that much time on camera every single day, a camera up your ass 24/7, you'd have quite a few guests. Look how many freaking guests.
Steven, all he did was repeat.
I'll give that to you. I'll give you that point. But give me this point. Ronald Reagan, during his second term, very well documented. Even his son is even saying it that his dementia probably started while in his second term. When Ronald Reagan left his second term of office, he is younger than Joe Biden is now.
Dementia is a disease that doesn't affect necessarily everybody. Age will have an impact on your memory as a general term. My 90-year-old grandfather is probably one of the most astute people that I know, and he is 90 years old.
Oh, my 102-year-old grandfather.
You also do need to say that Trump is the one that started this whole dementia conversation. There are plenty of people saying that there's no sign of dementia, as opposed to Trump that has documented signs of narcissism.
60% of America believes that Joe Biden has dementia, and I think it's 30% Democrat.
See, well, now, Trump is even debating that Joe Biden was even born in Scranton. Which is
Kenya. What are you?
Wait, hold on. I was kidding. This seems very oddly familiar.
No, this is coming from the left. No, this comes from
Trump's dementia.
Does Joe Biden need to show his birth certificate too?
Come on, dude, open your eyes. Like every time he speaks, there's like 3 major gaffes. If that was like
that is a significant symptom of having a stutter.
To call President Trump President Bush, that's a symptom of having a stutter.
Well,
you're trying to correct your word and jump into it. Yes,
hey, I'm in Atlanta, but you're actually in Pennsylvania. That's a symptom of a stutter.
Exhaustion.
Okay. Really, the guy from Fox News whose eyes were darting all over the place, possibly being on something. He's gonna give Joe Biden shit. Really?
Yeah,
this guy?
I guess you're right. I'm not. Yeah,
I'm not high.
Talk about the pot calling the kettle black. Holy shit!
I guess I'm fake news. No, but I'm honestly that is a concern, and he didn't. That was a big part of the thing is he was asked hey, take a cognitive test because most voters said that he should, and he didn't, and so hopefully he will.
Well, I'm the smartest president alive. My IQ is the best IQ of all the IQs.
If you look at the speech, the acceptance speech was. The acceptance speech was coherent. There were moments in which there were little gaffes and little things here and there, but if you look at the way in which he addressed the American people, it was coherent.
He's very good for 30 minutes, but you've never seen him speak for longer than that.
Well, here's the thing.
Honestly, he's walking. He doesn't know which direction he's going in. It looks bad. It looks bad.
Joe Biden,
guys, I'm going to deviate away from my Republican peers because a lot of my Republican peers kind of like that he's in that state because they think that he's going to be controlled by like corporate interests. And I will say this: I would rather have a president that's competent. So let's go, President Harris, 2020.
Here's the thing: Joe Biden will never be as eloquent of a speaker as Obama was. But he's 1.5 million times more eloquent of a speaker than Trump.
Well, Trump can name his wife. Trump can name all 3 of his wives. Biden can't even tell the difference between his sister and his wife. Like that's concerning.
That was a one political.
How about his dead son? How about when he called his granddaughter, "This is my son, Bo," about his granddaughter? I was like on the day of the election.
He's going through probably the most public election in the history of ever.
Oh, that's why I'm so worried. That's why I'm so worried. Have you looked at Bush and Obama like before and after their election?
It's just every single move.
Before and after gonna look like.
But look at Trump from day one. He was orange on day one, and he's just as orange now. Nothing has changed. Yeah. It's because he had his healthy regimen of golf. So it looks like that. We definitely have differing opinions of where the country would go under Biden. Looking at what a Trump presidency would have looked like, what would it have looked like? Do you think that it would have, because his whole thing is let's poke the bear. Do you think that we would have ended up with a more divided or even more divided nation under Trump? Would he have continued to poke the bear? What is in that cup that just made you make that face? Sorry.
Allegedly.
No, dude.
Possibly our new sponsor.
Sure, yeah,
that's the answer right there.
Our new sponsor, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. So what do we think a Trump presidency would have looked like?
Steven?
It would have gotten a lot more authoritarianism. We'd have saw a lot more of our allies slip further away. We'd have become more and more like North Korea. America first, and we got to do it alone. We'd have seen the trade war with China, tariffs. Well, we have a higher tariff. They just get a higher tariff. And we've had this for 4 years of just raising the tariffs back and forth. And it just comes down to the American taxpayer. I'm finally actually happy to start seeing a little bit of progress with that. I think it's going to be great to hopefully start actually building up our economy instead of ripping it down and giving money to the 1% instead of working families.
Well, my prediction is I'm just gonna tell how I see it is if Trump would have won, he would have fired a bunch of people on day one. He would have fired the head of the FBI. He would have fired
Fauci. He would have fired fucking Fauci if he'd have won.
Great. Yeah, but regardless, so I think that's great. But at the same time, that would have caused impeachment. It would have been 4 more years of Russia on steroids. And then I live in the Chicagoland area. I live in Northbrook, and you guys live in LA. And there's also New York City, little town called NYC. And all 3 of those areas would have been screwed because we're all financially bankrupt these states, and Trump was going to bail those out. So that is kind of
California that has a surplus.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys aren't. So you guys can't. Yeah, you guys have to get rid of a day of school because you couldn't afford the education system.
No.
Okay, I'm going. Okay, continue. I'm
gonna go on the U.S. California has a surplus, and
okay, no, we're gonna fact check this. We're gonna fact check this. But Steven, you talk. I'm gonna fact check this.
No, honestly, I think we were talking about this, last week about how, Russia even has half the GDP of California, and we consider them a superpower. And it's kind of amazing that, Republicans are the ones that always talk about, corporate welfare and these welfare babies. States like Kentucky take the most welfare money out of any state. California.
I think you guys have $50 billion in debt. Our deficit. Our 50 million. You guys have a deficit. You guys are definitely losing money. Your debt to GDP ratio is 19.2%.
Guarantee our debt is probably the slightest of any state.
So Jerry Brown brought us back to a surplus for sure.
What do you mean a surplus? Your debt, your spending is more than your revenue. Your revenue is
money in the bank. Yeah, but during COVID,
your spending
during COVID when we're spending more money because we need help with unemployment because we have 40 million people.
For sure, but your debt, every citizen in California owes 14 grand in debt right now.
Gosh, I wish I only owed 14 grand.
And
I wish I had 14 grand.
And also awesome cities like Chicago sending all of their homeless population on buses to live here in Los Angeles. You know, that is something
we gotta do.
Something that is going on over here. You know,
that is. Well, you can't be homeless. I really feel bad for because they do have tents and a lot of tunnels and overpasses in Chicago right now, and that's.
Oh, you should come to LA. Homelessness
during the winter.
Shame. It's the shame of our state.
Oh yeah, you guys have what's it called? Skid Row.
Yeah, 40,000 people in one block. I lived right off of Skid Row for a while. It's horrific. So,
yeah.
Anyways, we digress.
That's a topic for another day because I would love to solve that. I hope Republicans and Democrats hate
absolutely.
homelessness.
One, as you know, and that is something that actually I will, to a degree, blame the California Democratic Party for some of the policies that have disallowed cleaning these kind of things up. But
it's money management.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And mental health. Mental health too.
We'll do that. We'll talk about that next week. We'll make homelessness a conversation for that. So
or reality. The job market's not looking so hot right now.
Yeah.
So maybe we could just find out.
Yeah. We very well could be. So this is us. We are streaming from our tent, stealing Wi-Fi from a local 7-Eleven, and God, they're going to kill me for that comment. Anyways, do you see any sort of flip? Do we think that anything's really going to change, or is it locked in?
I hope we focus on the low hang. Like my hope is that we focus on the low hanging fruit because it's going to be such a thin margin. Either if Georgia goes Democrat or Republican, like the Senate's going to be really close and the House is really close. And so my hope is that we focus on the things that we like have to focus on, like the quality of water, infrastructure, the electric grid. But who knows?
Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, but
that's just the beginning. Flint's
that's assuming Republicans are going to give a shit about the environment, in the next couple months.
Mitch McConnell's Chinese handlers are going to beat the shit out of him.
Good luck with that.
You're focusing on water? What the hell?
Yeah, but we will be able to repeal a lot of the really messed up executive orders that Trump passed. So that came out today that Biden's whole team is planning on repealing and kind of like entering the Paris Climate Accord. That's
WHO.
That's what he's going to do. That's what he's going to do. And his first 100 days will be spent totally repealing every shitty executive order that Trump put forth, and that's going to take care of his whole 100 days.
Oh, that was going to say that's another topic for next week too. Is the first 100 days what we're expecting to see, especially since coming through. I think today actually they're planning on announcing a board of scientists that are going to be moving forward with COVID. And hopefully solving this pandemic and helping us move forward. So, gentlemen, this one has been a pleasure. Please join us tomorrow. Everybody scroll down, like this page, subscribe, and we will see everybody tomorrow.
Smash that button. Smash that like button. Share. Subscribe.
Smash.
Beans. Smash.